What's up, guys? I just wanted to talk about some stuff that's been on my mind lately. And I'm still trying to learn how to figure out how to do videos or not. This is like my. I've made videos in the past, but they were more about video games. They weren't as much as topics like this. So it's kind of been a little difficult for me to get the grasp on, how to do these kind of videos. But I mean, you just put on a mic and record yourself, is basically what I'm doing now. But, the topics that I wanted to get into was dating. In my last video, I briefly spoke about, or I think I did, I gotta rewatch it. I believe I spoke about, my dating, my health, my situation with my co parenting, my life in general right now. And I just wanted to give you guys a little update and just go over some topics that I've been thinking about. So, you know, since my last video, I have still not found a job. I've had a lot of interviews and they literally just don't select me. It's getting a lot harder for me in my personal experience to find a job, and it's not impossible, but it's not easy whatsoever to find a job. Now, I know a lot of people have told me, why don't you just go back to fast food? Why don't you just, you know, go get that 16 dollars an hour job? I understand, the urgency that I'm in and I just need to find some work. But when you join a job and you're not wanting to do that, and you have bills that outweigh your pay per hour, and you have bills that are calculated to a much higher wage per hour than what you are now getting as of now, it's hard to accept that. Um, so, you know, I could go get a job at McDonald's or a fast food place or just something, I'm not going to say, it's just like a degrading job or whatever, but for me and my bills, that's just not going to cut it. I don't want to join a job and then have to go and quit that job to go and find another one because that one is paying more and I just started this one and now I'm going to have to quit that one again. I don't want to do that. I think the reason why it's taking me a little bit because I want to get into something that's going to benefit me for the long run. I finally am realized at this late in my 20s that it's time to buckle down, get a serious job, and start thinking about my 30s with, a house, um, a brand new car. I spoke about it in my last video, I believe. My car is old, guys. It doesn't have 5 more years in it. I know it doesn't. So, all of this stuff, weighs on me a lot. And trying to get a job in this kind of, situation is it's difficult. So, it's, I have had a few interviews and I honestly feel like it was easier to get a job back in the day when you had to actually go into the store and ask for an application than to get on ZipRecruiter or Indeed and try to do it the online way like it is nowadays. Because nowadays, sorry, this guy has his brights on. Nowadays, when you do that, it's like you're competing against probably 60 to 70 other applications, and it's hard. I feel like that's one of the reasons why there's so many people that apply to everywhere nowadays online that have resumes that lie on their resumes, and you're competing against so much that it's almost impossible to be the one that they pick because there's so much competition in the job market right now. There's a lot of people that are, this isn't their first job, they want a second job. So they're applying. And, there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of stuff right now online that I feel in my experiences in the past 2 months that it's crazy hard. You really got to have a niche to you that, stands out. And there's a lot of people that are in their 20s and 30s that are working fast food. It's because they can't get a job anywhere else. And, I'm probably going to have to swallow my pride and do that at this point. I haven't done it yet because I don't want to work in food, but, the way it's going is like I'm going to have to. And I know a lot of my friends from high school and a lot of my friends that I have on my social media that I've went to school with and stuff, and I talk to them, and they're working grocery store jobs, or they're working retail, or they're working fast food. Like behind me is a Taco Bell, and they're all at these jobs. It's because there's not really a lot of work right now that's going around. And I know we're in December, there's a lot of seasonal positions, and this is when people start hiring because this is the busy time of the year. There's a lot of people that are buying stuff, But, I'll give you an example. I applied for. So, I was online a lot and I was looking up the reviews about Amazon delivery drivers. Now, a lot of people do not like it. They say it's a horrible job. And, I could see it. I could see it being very stressful, of course. Any delivery, postal delivery, is very difficult. You're going to be gone probably the majority of your day. You're going to be, you're going to probably spend about 70 hours on the road every week. So it's difficult. It's not an easy type of job, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to look up some reviews of people who have worked there. I want to hear what they have to say. Now, a lot of them liked it. They said it's a good paying job, but it gets very repetitive and like, it gets very difficult to have a work life balance because supposedly after you finish your route, and let's say you're one of those people that finish right away, they're going to send you somewhere else to go help that isn't finished. And that's not bad, but this one guy I saw, he said they completely lied to me in my interview. They told me I'd be off at this time, and he's like, I have never got off at that time. I've always been sent out to help someone else with their route. And that's not a big deal to me. I like to work. I like to stay busy and then go home and relax after a long day's work. But there needs to be some sort of balance, especially when you have children like I do, because I have my son, and I do love spending time with him. But when you get a job that is that physically, and it's very demanding. There's no calling in at those jobs. You literally can't. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. So you would think that you would just go to Amazon, or you would, it's almost like I don't even know where to apply, but I found a link online that was Amazon delivery driver. It wasn't the Flex one. I believe Flex is when you take your own vehicle. So it wasn't the Flex one. It was an actual, like, they give you an actual Amazon van and you go and deliver items. But it's through a third party company. So like I applied and whatnot. I scheduled an interview, and it's over Zoom because this third party company isn't in the state I'm in. And it's like I go to this interview and I'm waiting in the Zoom lobby before they let you in to join. And I'm waiting. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And I never get called in. And I waited in there for like 30 minutes because they selected me to do an interview. I don't know if it's an automated system. I don't know if it's like someone that clicked my application to be progressed further into the application, chain that they do. I don't know. But all I know is that I was waiting in that Zoom lobby for like over 30 minutes and I never got called. And when I tried to reschedule it because I didn't get to speak with anyone that day, they said that they were booked completely, that you have to make sure that you select a time in a day and do it as fast as possible. So I did it and I didn't even get called. So it was very difficult for me to, just accept that because, it was a good paying job. It was at least 23 an hour, delivering packages. I could definitely survive on 23 an hour. I could move out. I could, do what I need to do with that wage. But, these little mishaps is what I'm talking about with why it's so frustrating doing this stuff online, is because feels like it's almost impossible to get something. In the last previous two jobs I had someone that was working there, one of my friends, and they got me in and they got me in a good position, and then it fell apart. But I was at least able to get into the job, so I have some employment. As of right now, I haven't worked since the end of August, like the beginning of September. It's like 4 months now, and I still am not working, and I'm just like, I don't even know what to do at this point. Like, I wake up every morning, you know, I sit on my computer, I go on all these different job apps, I have everything good, my resume's good, everything's straight. I apply to so much stuff, I call them, the places that I apply for, and it's just like, I'm like reaching the point where it's like, I don't even know what to do at this point. Like, I'm about to go like recycle cans at this point. And, thank God for my parents, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even have gas to put money, I wouldn't even have gas money. I wouldn't even be able to be driving my car. And, it's just a lot right now. And it takes a really big toll on my mental health. I'm 28. I haven't dated anyone serious in it's going about 3 years now. It's like, I don't even know what to do at this point. Like, this coming year is going to be a year of work. Like, I don't want to be unemployed at all this coming year. Like, I don't know what I need to do, but I need to figure this out like as soon as possible, because I'm getting so frustrated of just being stagnant and not doing anything. It's just difficult for me to swallow this and be like, you know what? I got to be patient. I don't have any more time to be patient. So, it's very difficult. Not even to mention dating. Dating in 2025 as a young man in 28 years old is fucking like, excuse my language, it's ridiculous. It's like, it's so hard to find a match. It's like I'm on Tinder, I'm on Duet, I'm on Facebook dating, I'm on all these apps, and it's just like, there is like, it's like hit or miss. Like, I meet these girls, I've met like quite a bit of them, and it's like, I don't like their personality. Okay, well, they don't really look like their Facebook or their profile picture. And it's just like, there is so many cons to online dating that it's just ridiculous. Like, I don't know. That's a whole topic for another video, but it's getting to the point where I don't even want to do it anymore, because it's just so much BS that comes with it. So yeah, it's just difficult right now. I'm doing okay. My diet's kind of been messed up lately because of the holidays, and I know it's not an excuse, but it's just, man, I had my liver appointment with the gastrologist. It went pretty well. She doesn't think I have aggressive fatty liver. They don't know until I get a fibro scan done to determine if I have the aggressive type of fatty liver or I have a normal fatty liver. But depending Uh, During the appointment, she asked what my platelets were, and I told her that they've always been in the green range. And she said that's good because usually what we see in people with advanced fibrosis or like aggressive fatty liver is that their platelets are like in the red, like 150 and below. And mine were always, in the green throughout like for like 3 years now. So I don't believe I have aggressive fatty liver. I don't know for sure until I get that scan done, but she did give me some reassurance that she doesn't think I have it because my platelets would be pretty bad. But she said my platelets were good, so and I just had them done like all of November and October, so we're pretty accurate with that. So, you know, it's hard for me to go through these conditions by myself because I am an overthinker and I tend to Google a lot, and I'm happy about the knowledge that I've gained through research, because if it wasn't for research I wouldn't have a clue about anything with this condition. And thank God for the internet, because you can actually educate yourself about what you have and how to treat it and how to lessen it, because the information's on the internet, and the internet is amazing with that. Like, you can literally educate yourself on this type of stuff. So I've done a lot of research. I've cut out a lot of stuff. I'm still only drinking water. I'll have a diet soda here and there, but as far as juice, sugar, uh, regular Coke that's sugary, I haven't had any. I've completely cut it out. I drink nothing but water. And honestly, I've grown to love it. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than what it actually is, and it's not. It's actually pretty good. I actually enjoy drinking water. It's really good. I don't need a flavor packet. I don't need anything. I just drink straight water. Um, I have my Brita and I fill it up and I drink it, and I think it's been a big change for me, to not. Now, I wasn't always a very sugary kind of drinker, like juice, sugary soda, um, stuff. I've had it before in the past, like a lot, but for the most part, it was diet soda. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, oh, it's just diet soda. There's nothing in it. Well, there is stuff in it. There may not be sugar in it or a lot of calories or carbs, but there is stuff in it. You can't replace water. I don't care what anyone says. You cannot replace water. Water, it sits different in your stomach than a Diet Coke would. It it just feels different in your body. And I noticed that with water, I'm very hydrated now. My lips are not all chapped all the time. I'm not so thirsty anymore. Like, I'm not drinking, like, I used to drink like 4 to 5 Diet Pepsis within like a 8 hour period, because I would be so thirsty. I'd drink one, then I'd go pop another one open, then drink another one. And it's just like, you could cut that all in half by just drinking like 64 ounces of water throughout the day, and you're good. You're gonna cleanse your kidneys. You're gonna reduce inflammation. You're gonna make your bowels a lot easier to pass. There's a lot of benefits with water. I cannot stress that enough. Like, I know a lot of people that go on diets and they're so addicted to soda that they just can't kick it. And I understand, like, when you eat a meal, you want a soda. But honestly, like, after I eat a meal and I drink a lot of water, I feel better than I did if I were to have drank, a soda. So that's just my experience, though. A lot of people are a lot different. They want carbonation. They like carbonated water. I'm not a fan of it. I've tried it. It's just not for me. Um, but yeah, I've switched to only water, and I've loved the results so far. as far as, my diet, now, I mentioned it in my last video about how when you don't have your own money to buy your own food, you kind of have to eat what's being cooked. Now, my mother knows that, I'm not, my mom doesn't cook bad. She doesn't cook like with lots of grease and lard, but she uses a lot of carbs. She's a Spanish woman. She's going to use tortillas, um, cheese. I mean, cheese is good, but there's a lot of tortillas, there's a lot of breads. So, it's kind of hard. And I know that those things are not good for your liver because they're carbs, and carbs equals sugar, which is terrible for your liver. So, like, you could think, like, oh, I'm not going to eat a candy bar, and, I shouldn't have this and that. I don't like sweets. Well, little do you know that the carbs that you're eating from breads, pasta, all that is broken down into sugar for your liver because carbs are sugar. So whether or not you eat like sweets, you're still getting sugar from the stuff that you didn't eat that wasn't sweets. So a low carb diet is basically like vegetables and chicken and fish. I do know that I have to stay away from a lot of red meat. I have to limit my intake with that, which is very hard. Chicken is good, but don't get me wrong, it gets very bland very fast unless you have someone that knows how to cook a lot of different recipes with chicken and have them be good, fulfilling recipes. Um, my baby mama is a very good cook, but, we're not together anymore, and, it's not, I'm not going to be bothering her about, my scheduled eating, even though she wouldn't care. But still, for me, I'm not going to bother her with that. I got to figure it out on my own. So that my diet's been okay. I could do a lot better. I do know that I do need to do another fast. I need to start getting used to fasting. Now, fasting is very beneficial for you because it pretty much puts a pause, and it's not going to make you lose a ton of weight because it's going to take time for it to make you lose weight. You have to eat good meals to lose weight. You can't just starve yourself. Now, some people's bodies work this way where they can do a fast and they can drop like 10 pounds in a week. But for me, I noticed myself that I'm not able to do that because my metabolism slows down so much when I fast that it's not really burning fat. It's more like it. It's just a slow metabolism because there's nothing in my stomach. But having the feeling of being hungry is good though. Like you got to get used to that whenever you're trying to lose weight. Like you're going to be hungry. That's just the bottom line. You're going to feel hungry. You're going to feel like you want to eat a lot. And that's part of the journey of losing weight. You're going to have a growling stomach. You're going to have those craving moments where you just want to go in your kitchen and make yourself 2 peanut butter and jellies. You're going to want cereal. You're going to want sweets. You're going to want, McDonald's. You're going to feel starving because, you're not putting as much food in your stomach as you're used to. So you're reprogramming your stomach to not want that. And it's hard. It's hard, but it's definitely worth it. And, so yeah, my diet's been okay. Switched to nothing but water. My dating life is pretty much in hiatus right now. It exists, but it's not where I would like it to be whatsoever. Um, I would I know it could be a lot better, but when you don't have your own place, there's really there's like there's a way to do it, but it's not very viable. Like you're not going to be like you're not going to have a lot of success because, I don't have any money. I don't have my own place, you know what I mean? There's not a lot I could do. So, it's tough. So, yeah, this is just the things I wanted to talk about with you guys and just go over some stuff and what I've been up to. And I'm just still trying to get a job, man. It's pretty rough right now, but I'll get through it. So yeah, until next time,